Everyone. This will be my final video from Bali, which makes me a little bit excited but also a little bit sad. This week I've been thinking about something specific. I had a couple of healing sessions while I've been here with other healers, both to treat one thing, which is a long-standing pain in my body that I've had for a very long time. And both treatments were really different. So one stirred up and big emotional response inside me, like fear and anxiety and all those great feelings. And the other one was extremely painful. So that was a traditional Balian here, and he uses massage and other techniques. And yeah, that was physical pain like I haven't felt in a long time. But they both were effectively treating the one thing. It was just different approaches. And they both have done really well. I think I'm completely free from that pain, which is really exciting. But what I really wanted to discuss today was pain. And like, where does your brain go when I say the word pain? I know mine goes straight to physical pain. So I think headaches, I think menstrual cramps, I think ankle sprains, stuff like that I can remember. But if I say the word heartache or emotional pain, I get an entirely different feeling altogether. It hits me here. It's got a lingering darkness to it almost. It's got a different memory than the physical pain, right? So I've been looking into it and I've been doing a bit of research, and very interestingly, a few studies that they've done on this can show some really cool things that the brain does. So I'll tell you the studies first. So one study they did on puppies. I love puppies. They got a litter of puppies and they took them away from their mum. So they started crying and whimpering as puppies do. But then they gave some of those puppies from that same litter a really low dose of morphine. And the ones that had the small dose of morphine cried less and whimpered less. So a medicine that we've been using for severe physical pain is also treating emotional pain. And why is this? Another study that they did, they had 40 participants and they gave them different stimulus, and then they hooked them up to all these sensors and stuff, and they observed what happened in the brain. So the first stimulus was they had to look at a photo of their partner and imagine that they were breaking up. And then they showed them a photo of a friend and imagined that maybe the friendship is gone, something like that. And then they put a very hot stimulus on their forearm, scorching hot, and then just a warm stimulus on their forearm. So the study came back that when they were looking at their partner and imagining the breakup, that lit up the same areas in the brain as when they were getting the piping hot stimulus on their forearm. And also, the photo of the friend came out about the same as the warm stimulus. So they've concluded that the body doesn't really know the difference between emotional pain and physical pain, which is super interesting to me. So when people are taking painkillers, they're not taking it just for physical pain. It's also numbing emotional distresses inside them too. But why, if the brain thinks it's the same thing, physical pain and emotional pain, why do we deal with them differently? So then I started thinking about the process I would take if I went through physical pain. So let's say I jumped off a building, I climbed up a building and fell off and broke my arm, right? Broke my arm. It was an accident. Now just focus on that word accident for a minute first. And then when I have that accident, I break my arm and I scream and yell and cry, and everyone comes to my aid. So they're saying, oh, you poor thing, are you okay? Can I take you to the hospital? What do you need? And I'm like, you're terrible, let's go to the hospital. And then I'm in the emergency department and they validate that it's an emergency and they take me right on through. Maybe they give me painkillers so I don't react to the pain as much. They do physical examinations, they do x-rays, and then the treatment protocol starts, right? So they do surgery or they put me in a cast and they say you're going to be in this cast 6 to 8 weeks. You can expect 6 to 8 weeks of healing time. And then everyone sees my cast and we're all talking about it, and even strangers are asking what happened, and I say it's a silly accident, and people are signing my cast with love hearts. And then 6 to 8 weeks come, we cut off the cast, the bone's healed, and everyone celebrates, right? If that all goes to plan, of course. But then if it's emotional pain, if I say I've gone through a breakup or severe heartache, when I look back at this experience and I know the pain of that experience and how deep it was, I probably do yell and scream and cry in the first place. But then there was always a shut off from my expression. There was a blockage here straight away because this was hurting. And then I would retreat. I always retreated. I always went into solitude. I always went into self-reflection. I would start to pull apart the relationship. I would start to analyze it. I would start to bring blame and shame and guilt on top of everything. I would take responsibility and then give it away and say it's all their fault or it's all my fault. I would probably tell a few people around me, but I mostly shut myself off. I didn't get help. I didn't see professionals. I didn't seek out medicine. I didn't give myself a time frame for healing at all. I almost thought, this is going to ruin me, this is so profoundly hurtful. And why is that? Why is it so much different? Why do we approach it in different ways? And why is it so much harder to discuss that pain with our friends and family? I've got no problem if I've got a broken arm and a cast, telling everyone about it and the accident, and yeah, I've got 6 weeks to heal and all this sort of stuff. But when it's emotional pain, why do I feel so much more vulnerable? Is it because it might, if I tell other people, it might trigger a response in them with their own memories and their own hurt? Or is it that I can feel that when people love me and I'm in pain, that they're hurting as well, and I don't want to amplify that pain? Yeah, and I've just been thinking about what the differences are here. And I really have concluded that love is the source of our deepest pain. And it's only the people that we love dearly, when they hurt us, it's really painful. Particularly people that we often can't help but love, our parents or our partners or people very close to us, when they end up betraying us or hurting us or abusing us. Then we're in this situation where it's confusing. We end up hating the fact that we love them so much, and loving someone that has hurt you so deeply is this confusing part of being a human. I guess it's the human paradox. So if love is the greatest source of our pain, then why don't we use the same healing approaches as we would physical pain? Yeah, why don't we reach out for help? Why don't we get medicine? Why don't we give ourselves a goal of healing? Why don't we explore it? Why don't we integrate it? I know if I look into my past and all the times that I felt distressing emotional pain, if I had put my time and money into getting myself healing, into setting myself up a time frame for that healing, instead of spending all my money on alcohol and cigarettes and going out and distracting myself with new friends and whatever it was at the time, I think I would have got there quicker. I think I would have had a better handle on it. I think I would have felt more supported and more loved by the people around me. And maybe it wouldn't have lingered so long. So I'm just sort of trying to deconstruct this all, and I'd really like to hear your opinions as well. So what if one of your great dear friends or one of your family members came to you and said something like, I'm heartbroken, I'm actually shattered inside, but I have called on all my resources around me and I'm going to get help, and I'm going to give myself 6 months to really heal from this, and then in 6 months I hope that I've found a new direction in my life and that I'm a changed person. I mean, what would you think about that if someone came to you like that? I think that I would feel a bit more equipped to help them. I would know that I have 6 months to support them, to call them a bit more, to make sure they're okay. I don't know if you've had that selfish little feeling before when someone you love is going through real heartache and you do think to yourself like, ooh, I wonder how long this is going to last. And it is a selfish feeling, but you're triggered as well and you're hurting with them. But if they sort of say to you, I'm pulling in all my resources, let's do this, can you help me with this? 6 months, I want you to hold me accountable. Yeah, what do you think that would do? How would that change that scenario for you? Would you feel more equipped? Would you feel better in helping them? I think heartache is something that we've all experienced in one way or another. And I think we can agree that it's one of the hardest parts of being human and actually loving each other. So I want to know, what do you think about this? Do you want to share your own coping mechanisms that you've used in the past? Or maybe you've healed something in a certain way that you'd like to share? Yeah, I'd love to hear what you think. And remember that study I told you about with the participants where they had the photo and the stimulus? They did another one with the same participants, and they were all women. But this time they were allowed to bring their partners with them. And they gave them stimulus that was at their pain threshold. They figured out their pain threshold first. They gave them stimulus at their pain threshold and a little bit above. Sometimes they were just given pain. Sometimes they were given the pain stimulus while being able to hold their partner's hand. And sometimes they were allowed to look at a photo of their partner while they were given the stimulus. The study came back with the times that they were allowed to hold their partner's hand or look at the photo came back equally decreased in the brain sensory information than when they were just given the stimulus. So they felt they could cope more with the pain if they had someone they loved with them or around them or even a photo. So as love is the source of our greatest pain, then love also seems to be the answer to our healing. So I'd love to hear what you think about this, and thanks so much for letting me be vulnerable. I'll see you again soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.